With so many desk pads available, how do you pick the best one for your setup? I bought all the most popular options to figure out the pros and cons of each type of mat. I use a desk pad in the office, but I haven't found the right one for my home office. So for me, this was a legit search to find what desk pad would work best for me. Like usual, I started my search on Amazon because it's just easy to use. My search results were full of a bunch of desk pads that all looked pretty much the same. Sure, they have different color options and different sizing, but in the end, most of them are the same style PU material, very thin and pretending to be real leather. I'll start by breaking down this style of mat and then get into some upgrade options. I ordered 4 of the most popular ones to see if there is any real difference. The 4 pads combined have almost 150,000 reviews, and each of them have 4.7 stars out of 5. Long story short, most people are very happy when they purchase these pads. Right now, all 4 of these pads are $13.99 on Amazon for the 13 by 16 size. But if you're willing to wait, you can easily pick these up for $10. Fresh out of the box, if you told me these all came from the same manufacturer, I would believe you. They all look and feel the same quality to me, and none of them really stood out. All of them except the Aothea are two-sided, giving you the same texture on each side with 2 different color options. The brown Aothea mat looked like the most premium color to me. The underside of this mat was a soft faux leather backing. I decided to run some tests on these mats to discover all their similarities and differences. Something very important to me, and I also saw this echoed in the comments, is how well do they lay flat after unrolling them. After about a day of laying on my desk, all of these mats pleasantly laid flat except for the Yasagi. The Yasagi has small bumps going all the way through, and after a month they still haven't gone away. In my efforts to determine if these all came from the same factory, I thought a smell test might help. The Taui had the strongest smell, reminding me of ink. The Nodal and Aothea were both pretty neutral smelling. The Yasagi had a very odd smell to me, and while it wasn't as strong as the Nodal, it was the worst smell. For the rest of the tests I ran, the PU pads had identical results, so I'll use the Nodal to represent their lineup. Of all the pads I tested, PU pads are the only ones I would recommend writing on. If you push too hard, you'll go through the paper, but normal writing won't be an issue. PU pads also win the spill test. I always have coffee at my desk, so it's inevitable that I'll leave some spill rings. These rings wipe off the PU pads with no issue. The texture of the PU pads are all very similar and allow for a very smooth mouse movement. These pads are also considered self-healing. I put them to the test by folding them up and dropping a hard object on them. While creases and marks were visible right away, in a very short amount of time they were hard to find. There's a good reason why we chose the Galloway leather desk pad as the mat for our setup in the video set. It looks premium without breaking the bank. The Galloway desk pad is a step up in quality from the previous group. But don't be confused, this is still a PU leather desk pad for $25. It has many of the same advantages and disadvantages as the $13 pads. The Galloway pad does look and feel a bit more premium, though part of that may be perception over reality. It is softer than the other PU pads, which results in a really nice feel, but the softness did hurt it in testing. My pen pushed right through the paper and even left marks on the pad during the write test. And when it came to the drop test, my utility knife left indentions in the pad that are still there weeks later. This is the only pad I tested that left a mark from the drop test. In all other tests, the Galloway performed equal to the PU pads. I would recommend this pad to anyone who doesn't mind spending a little extra to have a classy look for their setup. If you're a gamer, mouse glide and control are going to be more important than any of these other tests. And the K-Trio pad is the easy winner in this area. This pad bounces between the $15 and $19 range and has a 4.8 star rating out of 33,000 reviews. The most common negative from the reviews was that the pad never becomes flat. And after weeks of having this mat, I will agree, one corner of my mat refuses to flatten down. Getting into testing, the mouse glides significantly better on this surface than any other pad I tested. The gaming pad passes the fold and drop test with flying colors. These tests left no marks or creases at all. A couple areas where the gaming pad failed were the writing and spill test. My pen easily went through the paper, so you'll need to use your desk surface to write rather than the pad. As you will see with the spill test, it initially looked like it repelled liquid well, but after blotting and wiping away the coffee, a ring remained. So if you eat or like to have drinks at your desk, try to keep them off the pad. Personally, I use a coaster so my coffee has a little home off to the side of my pad. Admittedly, I am not a gamer, but I have been testing this pad while doing image editing. This is another application where glide and control are crucial, and while the K-Trio isn't perfect, I've been grabbing this pad when I open up Photoshop, and it's a great pairing. Now I feel like I have to lead with the price on this one. $160 for the extra large Grovemade wool felt desk pad. Now the question is it worth it? If you're buying this pad, it's more for the looks than the function. This pad is the biggest loser when it comes to a few of my tests. Writing on the Grovemade is kind of a joke. It's just impossible. It has average glide, but because there's so much texture, it felt inconsistent to me. If you spill anything on this mat, I would suggest wiping it up quickly. A quick blot was able to soak up my coffee pretty well, but a couple weeks after testing, I could still smell that coffee spill. One other issue I had was how easily you could stretch and slide the pad around on the desktop. I like my desk mat to basically blend into my work surface so I don't even notice it's there, and this movement makes me very conscious of the mat. It's not all bad news though. The Grovemade shined in the fold and drop test with no issues at all. And circling back to the looks, if you want to transform the look of your space, this mat is for you. Personally, this price tag makes me want to look for other ways to transform my space. Quickly, let's look at these test results. The cheap PU pads were the overall winner, taking 3 of the 4 tests. So if you're really on the fence about spending money on a desk pad, wait till one of these PU pads hit $10 and you won't regret it. If you need the performance of a gaming pad, the K-Trio is a great choice. Finally, if you want to level up the look of your setup, the Galloway is the route I would go. The Grovemade just has too many negatives that make that price tag unjustified. If you found that perfect desk pad out there, let me know what it is in the comments. Thanks for watching.